Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Luke Mick here. Good to have you with me this afternoon. If you hear any machinery noises outside, my stupid neighbor is trimming weeds and and the dog's barking, and he has some sort of like bobcat thing going around. I don't even know what's happening next door, but it's creating a lot of noise pollution, and I hope that it doesn't affect the filming of this video, as well as old Binky barking upstairs. Anyway, what is this video? Well, you all know it is the halfway to Black Friday Vinegar Syndrome sale unboxing video. This box is Give me a paper cut on the back of my neck, a cardboard cut. Those are the worst. Yeah, what the fuck am I even talking about? This big, really heavy box that I'm having difficulties holding up has been in my possession for about a week now. I received it last Sunday. I'm filming this on a Saturday, and I've been holding off on filming this video because it's just mentally a very daunting task to go into depth with everything in this box here. But I'm finally, stepping up to the plate and doing it. But before we do that, I have to organize this because, Alright, and like that, the box is empty. It's so deep my whole entire head goes inside the box. Look at that. Wow, that's a deep box. Okay. Goodbye. The recycling bin will be happy to have you in no time. Alright, so the first set of things I want to talk about are So to kick things off, I would like to first talk about the May releases. Those are the secret releases and the other releases that came with the subscriber package that I receive every month. So we'll talk about those first before we get into everything else. First one here in my hands is Alien from LA. This has, from a graphic design standpoint, a slipcover that I really love. I love the red and the purple, and just our main character there standing on the side and ready to begin her journey to this weird space city. Really nice color scheme on this slipcover, and really nice use of just characters being photoshopped in. But I have to complain about the actual design of the physical slipcover itself. Whatever material they used, it gives off this really weird sheen, and it just seems like it can get damaged and dinged up really easily. Like, I already see on mine a lot of sort of white marks and scratches. I don't know, it just feels like more thin than they normally are. Maybe it's not, maybe that's just in my head, but it just seems like a slipcover that can be really easily damaged. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing. I really like the color scheme and the graphic design of this slip, but not so much the feel of it. I know that's a really nitpicky collector thing to complain about, but it's just something I have to point out. It just feels like cheaper than what I'm used to with Vinegar Syndrome. But the film itself, I watched the trailer, and the main character sounds like she's gonna be really annoying.
I didn't even know if I was dead or alive or what.
Then I got up, so I realized I was alive.
She is basically playing like the dumb girl character who's like fish out of water. She's looking for her dad on another planet. Maybe it's Mars, I don't know. But the production design looks interesting. It looks like it's very much influenced by like Blade Runner and Mad Max. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of fun stuff in the frame within the film. But I don't know if I'm going to connect with the character's journey. But I don't know. We'll see with Alien from LA. I'm not expecting much. But hopefully it's enjoyable. Next one here is Surf 2. My friend JJ started watching this on, I think, Tubi, or somehow he started watching it, and he really dug it, so I'm excited for it. He didn't get to finish the film, but I hear that Buzz Cola is in this film, or some sort of Buzz drink, so that's pretty awesome. It's like a surfing beach party movie with zombies because they're drinking this cola stuff. I'm covering the back here because there's a bikini butt.
Not a bare butt, but a bikini one.
I like the slipcover because there's a lot going on, but at the same time, the like neon blue and the dark black background and like that pink is kind of ugly in my opinion. It's like not a very pretty slipcover if you ask me. But yeah, Surf 2, hopefully it's cool stuff. And another thing I'd like to point out about this release, I haven't opened it myself, but I think that it actually comes with a booklet on the inside, which is not common for Vinegar Syndrome releases, so that's an interesting little tidbit about Surf 2. We have, of course, the televised box set with little Frodo Baggins on the front here. We got Elijah Wood screaming about this guy in the yellow raincoat and the telephone. I don't think this telephone has to do with him. I think this has to do with the Sharon Stone movie. But Televised Terror, this is a collection of 3 films from the 70s and 80s, and from what I understand, they were like straight to TV, made for TV, like suspense horror movies. And they actually have star power. Young, non-star Elijah Wood, but Sharon Stone is the star of one of these films, and there might be other people who I'm not remembering off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm curious about this set. I'm wondering, I haven't read too much into it, so I don't know if Vinegar Syndrome, like, found or made cuts of these movies that have as much violence in them as possible, as unrated as they can be. But then again, I feel like these films were made for television, so I doubt that they filmed many, like, violent sequences. At least I think they were filmed for television. I don't know, this is a really weird set. I'm curious to see the content of these films. It's like their other slip boxes. You take them off, and then I'll take it off fully. You have 3 individually cased films there. People don't like the design of this slip box. I also thought it was kind of ugly. I don't know what you would call this form of character art. Is it cell shading? I don't really know. I mean, I guess cell shading, I think of like Wind Waker, and I really like that art. But yeah, it's kind of a hodgepodge, ugly looking box design. It's grown on me. Okay, you know, at first I was like, what the hell is that? But now it just looks more natural to me because I've seen it so many times. But yeah, that's Televised Terror Volume 1. I'm assuming we'll be getting more of those, being the first volume. This one I'm really, really excited about. It is the Cardona Collection. These are 3 films from, I think, Mexican filmmaker Rene Cardona Jr., who just passed away in like mid-April. This set was announced. Vinegar Syndrome had announced that they're going to be doing more work with him, interviews and special features for these releases, but sadly he passed away really recently. So hey everyone, editing Luke Mick here. I just have to stop the video for a second to provide some clarification and corrections on this whole Rene Cardona situation. So there are 3 Rene Cardonas. There's this one here, then there's Rene Cardona Jr., who is the director of the 3 films in this set, and then there is Rene Cardona III, who is the son of Rene Cardona Jr., and he acted as like a second unit director on some of these films, and he actually acted in a few of them. He is the one who just recently passed away. The actual director passed away in 2003, but Rene Cardona III recently passed in May. So just had to quickly just correct myself there. Obviously, I didn't know what I was talking about, but after watching the first film in the set, I did a little bit more research and realized that, oh, I was wrong about that. So that's that. Enjoy the rest of the video, everybody. I'm assuming they're going to continue releasing the films and restoring the films in these collections, but you know, it just sucks. Especially now, I'm probably going to watch these films and hopefully find something to really admire about them, and it'll just be sad to think that the man behind them has passed away. But this is a interesting set because it's not, I think most people like myself expected it to be a box set like Televised Terror, but this is actually a different design. It's like this sort of VHS style side loader design. It gets its own individual slipcover here, which I'm sure they might release this as like a standard edition later, and then all the films are in one pretty thin case, but I think there are 3 discs. I think each film is on its own disc. But yeah, a different design that maybe people aren't too happy about. What they do is they put magnets on here, so as the volumes come out in the coming months, you can stick them together and keep them all in as one set, essentially. So it's an interesting new style of design from Vinegar Syndrome, and you know, the box art is cool. The films, I hope, are good. They're sort of like jungle horror movies, maybe some cannibal stuff going on. You know, I'm excited for what that has in store. And the last item from the subscriber package, you know, titles of the month, this was another one of the secret titles along with Alien from LA. Can't remember if I mentioned that. Is the Scanner Cop double feature, Scanner Cop 1 and 2. These are both 4Ks, and they also do include a Blu-ray disc for those of you who would prefer to have just a Blu-ray, and you'll get the 4K no matter what. But for those who don't have like 4K players, really like the slipcover designs on these. They look like the original artwork for the most part. I think these are original posters, but just so much color and so much going on here. It's really nice that they gave this nice sort of side-loading VHS style box. Again, they did a lot of that, it seems, with this sale, and with each title getting their own slipcover, that's really cool too. Now, something I didn't realize about the Scanner Cop films is that they're in the same like universe and series as David Cronenberg's Scanners. These are like spin-off films that came out in the mid-90s, and I always knew what Scanner Cop was, but I never put two and two together and realized that they were kind of the same thing. But I actually watched Scanner Cop 1 really randomly last night. I was expecting to watch something else, not something like Scanner Cop, but somehow it ended up in my 4K player, and I dug it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought that the villain had a really exciting and interesting way of sort of carrying out his evil deeds, if you will. It was kind of like a weird blend of like the original Scanners, like sci-fi horror, and this also had like cop detective stuff. It was like LAPD, and yeah, it was a really fun film. I actually liked it a lot, and I almost watched the second one, but I held myself back from doing a Scanner Cop double feature last night. So yeah, this is a sweet set. I'm happy with the first film already, and that's what I have to say about Scanner Cop. So let's move on to the VSA releases that were announced and released during this sale. Now we have two new VSA titles, and they're going to be the only two in this section because I already have all the other available VSA titles in my collection, so I only bought the two new ones. That first one is Alley Cat. This is a film about a woman who
Fights.
thugs and gangsters. The trailer looked pretty fun. It looked like, you know, exploitative 80s action stuff. Not too much else to say about this one, but it looks pretty great. And then the other one here is Champagne and Bullets, and it has a lot of other titles that I can't even remember right now. Get Even is one of them. And the pictures that Vinegar Syndrome put on the website alongside this release made it look really boring. I was like, well, it's a VSA title, I gotta get it. But it looks like a really boring movie. But little did I know, it's actually a fan favorite Best of the Worst from Red Letter Media that I think people are really excited about. And knowing that makes me more excited for it. And I guess the man who must star, he stars in it, and I think he must direct it too. This guy here, he's like drunk half the film, like just hammered, and it's like an enormous vanity project, and I hear the movie is just absolutely crazy. It's baffling how the filming of this film went. So that's Champagne and Bullets. I'm way more interested in it now that I know the backstory of the film. Really cool release from VSA. I like how they dig into the Best of the Worst catalog, if you will. That's really fun, being able to give, you know, viewers of that their own experience with the films. So very cool stuff. Now we're going to move on to the partner label stuff. This will be the AGFA and the Fun Cities editions and everything else that we'll get into right now. First one here is the only Fun City Editions title that I picked up during the sale, and that is Smile. Nice, pretty simplistic, cream-colored slipcover here. This is a 70s film, and I don't exactly know what it's about, if I'm being honest with you, but I am interested in it because it stars Bruce Dern in the 70s, and personally, as of right now, I've only seen Bruce Dern in, like, older aged films. Like, he's an older man. Like, I love Nebraska, the Tarantino stuff he's done in recent years, and that's about it. So I haven't seen Bruce Dern really in his prime, so I'm interested in that, and I hear people are digging it, and it's kind of like a sort of a gem of the 70s, a classic sort of maybe dramedy, comedy sort of thing. I'm not even entirely sure what kind of film it is, but that is Smile. Now moving on to the AGFA stuff, we have She-Mob. I really dig the striking points and fonts and everything on this slipcover. I like the spine, how it's a sort of like teal. That's teal, right? And the sort of newspaper clipping on the back here. There is actually a lot of words on here that I have not read. I don't even know what they could be talking about in here, but there's a lot in this slipcover alone. And I think that this is like, I mean, it does say strictly adult entertainment, for adults only, butches of the weird world, make love to me or else, and it's brought to us by Alfred N. Sack. I don't know exactly what kind of film this is. I'm assuming it's gonna be some sort of like weirdo 60s, yeah, 69, so I'm assuming it's gonna be like The Curious Case of Dr. Hump, which is another AGFA release that I watched recently, and that was already like sexually explosive and really strange. Yeah, She-Mob. I'm curious about it. Sometimes Aunt Martha does dreadful things. I think that this had like previously been released in the DVD format by Vinegar Syndrome. I think it's one of the catalog titles. I might be wrong though, but that's what I think I've seen before. But now it's just like an AGFA Blu-ray release with this slipcover. And I don't know too much about this film at all, but you know, I'm assuming it's a pretty low budget, like slasher, early 70s, sort of maybe psychological character study sort of thing. I'm not entirely sure what it's about, but I've heard of it, because, you know, I'm holding it. Of course I've heard of it.
I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but
Sometimes Aunt Martha does dreadful things, and sometimes she doesn't. Let's move on to the next one here. We have Prospect. This film stars Pedro Pascal of The Mandalorian and Game of Thrones.
And the second Kingsman film, among many other things. I think Narcos and
All sorts of stuff. It doesn't matter. He's a very famous man at this point. And this is a new partner label. I think it's called Gunpowder Sky. And this is actually a 4K release with the side-loading VHS style, bringing us a really wonderful-looking slipcover. But yeah, Prospect. What else can I say about it? It looks like an intelligent science fiction film. It came out really recently, like 2015 or 16. I'm assuming there's a bit more of like an emphasis on isolation, but I'm not exactly sure. I really don't know what kind of space film it's going to be. I'm making assumptions here, but it looks pretty interesting, so that's Prospect. And it also came with some space food, some space paste. Just kidding, it's trading cards. Are they trading cards? They just call them collectible movie photo cards. There are 11 of them in here. I don't know if I'm going to open this. Maybe after I watch the film, I'll want to take a look at them, but yeah, cool little side thing to give with this release. Definitely a very unique thing. And we are moving on to the final partner label releases here. This is the Altered Innocence stuff, another new partner label of Vinegar Syndrome. They're getting way too many. They're even making partner label months, which is great. June and December, like, that's awesome that they're able to help facilitate the release of more films on Blu-ray, but holy cow, they make everything so damn enticing, and I just cannot help myself. There are just too many, damn it, but, you know, that's a me problem. But the first one, Altered Innocence Volume 1. This is basically a collection of LGBTQ plus short films and music videos from, I think, maybe the 60s up until recent years, or maybe most of it's in the 2000s. I actually think most of it's from this century, if not all of it. It's just a collection of music videos and short films. I really was just kind of struck by the simplicity of the design of the slipcover. This image reminded me of something that like New Order would put out or like use as an album cover or something. Maybe not I doubt many people thought of that, but for me, that's just the image that popped into my mind. I really love the simplistic design of this. The framing and shot composition for a lot of these music videos and shorts that I saw on Vinegar Syndrome's website looked pretty interesting and appealing, so I think it's a really unique set, and I'm happy to have it. Next one here is Adoration. This is a film that came out in 2020 or 21. It's really recent, and I think it's shot on 16mm from what I understand. Adoration, it's a romantic coming-of-age film, shot on 16mm. I think it's like foreign to the United States, I should say. French, English, and Dutch, so I'm assuming it's like a French film. So that's Adoration. And the last one here is, what is it? Yeah, the title wasn't on the front. The Wild Boys. This is a slipcover that people are drooling over, and it is very pretty. It's amazing how many sparkles they were able to put on this Jason X looking mask in the depths of space here. Doesn't that not look like Jason X? It looks like Jason X's freaking face mask exploded, and this is what it looked like. This is a really beautiful slip though, and the film is supposed to be pretty good from what I understand. It has a pretty high score on Letterboxd. It's a French, I'm assuming, coming of age film because that's what this line specializes in. I'll show you this here. Just a lot of like really crazy astronomical purples and blacks and blues, and I really liked the cinematography from what I saw on the images on Vinegar Syndrome's website and just looking at the back here. And this was actually not a brand new release by Altered Innocence. This is an older film that they put out, but they didn't have a slipcover for it, so they're doing a sort of like legacy catalog slip edition of it. It's sold out now. It's sold out really quickly. But yeah, that is the Wild Boys. Okay, so now that the subscriber package and the VSA and the partner labels are out of the way, we are now ready to talk about just the normal Vinegar Syndrome catalog stuff that I grabbed during the sale. And did you hear that? I think I know who that is. Give me one moment. You called?
Oh, yes! I heard you talking about Vinegar Syndrome out there. Please let me out so I can join you.
Not a chance.
I'm begging you, Luke Mick. I'm only 6 months into my 1-year sentence. I don't know how much more of this isolation I can take. It's so dark, damp, and lonely down here. The only things to keep me company are this Mike's Hard Lemonade, jolly old St. Nick, and Paul's Food Dehydrator. All I ask is for a moment to enjoy the pleasures of film once again.
Alright. I tell you what. I'll give you a couple of movies to talk about, but I'm gonna need you to step away from the door, and I'll leave them at the entrance for you. Okay?
Oh, bless your heart, Luke Mick. You truly are a saint.
Yeah, okay. Are you backed away from the door yet?
Yep.
Okay. I'm coming in. Okay. Here's your cut. And you'll have to record with this. It's the only spare we've got.
Oh, not to worry, Luke Mick. 'Cause see, once I'm done with you, I'll be able to use whatever filming equipment I want. Is this thing working? Hey everyone, welcome to the brand new Mick Luke show. I welcome you to my humble abode here. This is my new living quarters temporarily. My last attempt to escape did not really work out so well. But, Luke Mick luckily granted me the ability to talk about a couple of movies here. And I think that he would have changed his mind if he would have known what I had up my sleeve here. But, let's just get into what he gave us here. He did not give me much at all, and I don't know what the hell all this shit is. We got the Bizarre Art Theater. It's the 12-unit show. It's hotter than hell, and it's come deadly, and I don't know what the fuck this is. What the hell is this? What did he give me? I don't even know what this is. He also sent me here All Night at the Pono. More like, oh no, Mick Luke's still trapped in the boiler room. Hey, don't you think? Boy, I don't know what Luke Mick's giving me here, but I don't know if it's very friendly for the masses of YouTube here. Succula. Vampires versus TV News. What kind of garbage is he giving me to eat here? I don't even know. And now what the hell is this? This is the last thing. This is all a bunch of junk. It's slimy and gross. Confessions of a Teenage Peanut Butter Freak? I mean, I know Luke Mick likes peanut butter, but goddamn, what is this? Made from whole ripe nuts. Ripe peanut butter nuts. Peanuts. Peanut butter nuts or peanuts, right? There's some weird substance coming out of here. I gotta... Well, this is absolutely disgusting. What the fuck is this? It smells like a PB&J got squashed in here. Peanut butter freak my ass. Peanut butter maniac more like it. What is this? This is filthy. This is morbid and disgusting. I'm gonna get so many ants in the boiler room now. You know how many ants are gonna be crawling around in this place now? This is sabotage, damn it. Luke Mick, you fucked me. You fucked me over, Luke Mick. Luke Mick.
Okay, that should hold them over for a little bit. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, on to the catalog stuff. I'm gonna run through these pretty quickly because I grabbed a lot of them, and I really can't say that I have much to say about many of them at all, especially this first one I'm holding up, because I added this one right at the end, and I was like, let's get it. It's cheap. It has 2 films in it. It's exploitative action stuff from the 70s and 80s, I guess. The Doll Squad with Mission Kill Fast. This is a pretty early Vinegar Syndrome release. Number 14, very early on in their releasing. There's a little bit of a boobie there, so I'll cover that up. That's the Doll Squad. I wanted to get some Rudy Ray Moore films in this sale because I don't have any of them yet, and I would like to watch them. And I think the only one I grabbed actually is Disco Godfather, and it looks like a blast. Looks like there are zombies or vampires or something, and discos. It sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on in this film, and I love that cover. I love the layering of Disco Godfather over and over again to create the backdrop of the central character here. So very cool stuff. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. Liquid Sky. This is a pretty, I think, beloved like art house release that Vinegar Syndrome has done. It seems like a lot of people talk about this film film, and they're just really impressed with the cinematography and just the design of the film in general, and probably the use of neon. It looks like a very neon heavy film. So that is Liquid Sky. The House on Tombstone Hill. This is another film that seems like it has like 100 titles. I think another title for it is Dead Dudes. And then another one might be The Dead Come Home, or maybe that's just like a tagline. I think I've seen The Dead Come Home in respect to this film, I think. I don't know, there seems to be a lot going on. It seems like a haunted house movie or like a house murder movie. And one of my favorite films of all time is Houseu, so I always love a good house movie.
Especially if it can go pretty wild.
This one here I'm really interested in, and I think it's actually going to be a pretty like harrowing and uncomfortable watch, and that is A Climax of Blue Power. And this is, I think it's technically an adult film. I don't think it's like a normal just exploitation movie. I think it might technically be pornography. But it sounds like it has a really, I don't know, just affecting and disturbing story about a man who wants to be a cop, but he's rejected from the academy, and he puts himself in an LAPD uniform and drives around and abuses his fake power as a police officer against hookers and prostitutes and probably more people. I don't know, this seems like a really dark film and a really just interesting release. It is rated X for adults only, so like I said, I think it's gonna be a tough watch. That one's gonna be a lot, I think. So that's A Climax of Blue Power. Next up here is Sugar Cookies. This is one of the releases that Vinegar Syndrome brought a fresh, brand new slipcover in for. Love the design of this. It caught my eye so quickly. I love the orange and purple melding into the pink and the white. Just a beautiful slipcover design, and I'm really interested in this film too because it introduces Lynn Lowry of many films of oh god, what the hell, many films that I can't remember the name of. No, Shivers, the David Cronenberg film. God, what is that one that Grindhouse Releasing put out? Where are my Grindhouse films? I Drink Your Blood, of course. Lynn Lowry is just like someone who, when you see her in a film, you'll recognize her immediately, and it sounds like this is her first film appearance, at least when you say introducing, that's what I'd assume. So I'm really interested in Sugar Cookies, and yeah, really nice side spine design too. Murder Weapon and Deadly Embrace. This is a double feature. It has 2 films in it, and I'm really excited that Vinegar Syndrome brought this back to life with a new slipcover because I had never heard of it, and looking at the stills, it looks like there's some really incredible violence and gore effects. I love that sort of stuff in my films, and I don't know what the content of these films are other than those effects that I saw. I don't know what they're about. I don't know if they're revenge films or sexploitation films or what they are exactly, but they look pretty sweet. I'm really excited about this one. I've heard other people say that these are pretty underrated, so that's definitely a good sign. Massage Parlor Murders. This is another really early Vinegar Syndrome release, number 4. Really inexpensive film too. It was like $10, one of the cheaper Blu-rays they had on sale. Yeah, I don't know much about this film. I've never heard anyone talk about it really, so I can't say much. But that is Massage Parlor Murders. The Bees, I have been really holding myself back from buying this one for way too long. I kept thinking they'd probably do a slipcover for this, but it seems that Vinegar Syndrome likes to do slipcovers for catalog releases of films that don't sell as well. And I'm assuming this one sells pretty well because, first of all, that cover is awesome, and it also stars John Saxon, my main man. So The Bees was a no-brainer for me. I love the star, and I like the idea of I guess murdering bees, killer bees, dogs that shoot bees out of their mouth when they bark. The Bees, John Saxon, you had me on board with that, man. Thank you very much, Vinegar Syndrome, for bringing that into my life. Death Row Game Show. This is another release that I think is a catalog title that's really popular with people, so that might be a reason why it's not getting a slipcover in recent sales, but I think this is another one where people are kind of like, give us a slip for Death Row Game Show. But this looks like a lot of fun. It looks sort of like a Running Man sort of idea. It's a game show where it looks like people get killed or abused or tortured, kind of like Fear Factor or something. No, not quite like that. Or like MXC, Death Row Game Show. What a What a great title, too. I love the way that rhymes. Penitentiary. This is I think a blaxploitation boxing film. Our main character has some nice red boxing gloves on there, and I'm assuming it's a prison film as well because it's called Penitentiary. There are 2 of these films. I have the second one with the slipcover in my collection, but I haven't watched it yet because I've been waiting for myself to obtain this one, because I'm not going to watch the sequel before I watch the first one. So now I have this. I can watch both. A Woman's Torment. This is a really interesting front cover design, if you ask me, from Vinegar Syndrome, unless it's an original cover, but I think they usually make their own stuff. But it almost reminds me of something that like Criterion would release just based off of the design here. I don't have much to say about this film because I don't really know anything about it. Nightmare Weekend, one of the ones that they brought back with the slipcover, a release that was this one out of print for a little bit? I can't remember. Some of the catalog titles for Vinegar Syndrome were out of print and they came back into print, and this might be one of them. I can't tell. There were a couple of, I think Runaway Nightmare is one, but is that even in print yet? I can't keep track of all these nightmare movies. They all sound so similar to me. But I really dig the cover of this. It looks kind of phantasmy with this reflective silver ball here, but also just the sort of computer grid design gives me like Treehouse of Horror 6 from The Simpsons vibes, or like Lawnmower Man. It's a really cool slipcover design. I love this. Like, this looks kind of like a giant cigarette, although it clearly is not, or a big blunt or something. But yeah, this is, I like the green and the red coming together. This is a really fun looking slipcover. And yeah, Nightmare Weekend. Let's hope that it makes for a good weekend, huh? And the last of the slip covers that are newly commissioned by Vinegar Syndrome for these catalog titles is Count Dracula's Love. Out of the 4 films that they brought back with slipcovers, this is the one I'm least interested in. I don't know exactly what kind of film this is, but it sounds like it's just going to be some kind of like dumb Dracula love comedy sort of thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm incredibly wrong. I do think that this cover makes it look a bit more appealing, if I'm being quite honest. But I don't know, like vampire Dracula movies don't always do it for me. Oh, but this stars Paul Naschy. Is that how you pronounce his name? I've seen his name everywhere, but I have never said it out loud. Paul Naschy. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Count Dracula's Great Love. We'll see what it has in store. I'm not, like, too optimistic about it, but maybe it's really good. Maybe it's something that I'm dismissing like an asshole right now when I shouldn't be. My Chauffeur. This is an 80s comedy film. My friend Tyler watched this film, and he didn't like it too much. I think he gave it, like, a 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and he said that there was some pretty dated, offensive humor in it as well, which is just... that's just perfect. I'm just kidding. I guess what can you expect from the 80s? Yeah, I don't know. It's not... it doesn't sound like a typical Vinegar Syndrome release being like an 80s comedy that doesn't usually, fit in with the rest of their release style. But yeah, My Chauffeur, it stars Deborah Foreman, who I believe is the star of Valley Girl. My mom loves that film, but I've never actually watched it. Ed Wood's Orgy of the Dead. Ed Wood, I know who Ed Wood is. I know of the Tim Burton film Ed Wood. I know that he's like a notoriously bad horror filmmaker who just made bad movies. I don't know too much about the rest of the history of him, but this is a film of his, and I think it's the only one Vinegar Syndrome has put out on Blu-ray at least. That's Orgy of the Dead. Not much else I can say about that film. The Corruption of Chris Miller. This is actually a giallo film that is supposed to be really great. From what I've seen on Letterboxd, the scores are pretty high for this film, and that's really cool because I love a good giallo. And where is this from? 70s Euro horror. I'm not going to keep looking at this, but The Corruption of Chris Miller. I have really high hopes for this one. I'm expecting it to be pretty special, and I hope that it is. Battle for the Lost Planet and Mutant War. This is a sci-fi double feature. They came out in the mid to late 80s. Looks like there's some creature horror in here as well. I was going to say maybe they're more like Star Wars rip-offs. Maybe it's a little bit of Star Wars and a little bit of monster horror stuff. This guy on the front here looks so much like... what was his name? In Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. I think his first name is Dax. I don't remember his last name. In the Nintendo 64 game. He really looks like that character to me right now, so that's kind of why I'm getting Star Wars vibes. Buddies, somebody on YouTube, I watched his video right before the sale went live, or like the day before, and I don't know who he was. Someone recommended his video in the Facebook group. I'll try to find his channel before I upload this, but he talked about this film, and I had always just kind of scrolled past it and not paid any attention to it, but it sounds like a really great drama about a man who's dying of AIDS this was filmed in the mid-'80s, right during the AIDS epidemic, and it's about a man who is assigned to be his buddy, someone to sort of be his friend in his final, I don't know, months of life, weeks of life, I'm not sure, but it sounds like a really touching film, and especially being made at the time that it was, I think it's going to be a really interesting watch. So, Buddies, thank you to the man who pointed that one out to his viewers. I'll try to find you and put your channel down below, because he had some good recommendations. We're almost at the end here. We have 2 left. Norman J. Warren's The Terror. Vinegar Syndrome has released 4 of his films, I believe. Quite a few of them, and the one that I've watched is Bloody New Year, and I really dug that film a lot. I liked it way more than I thought I would. And this is another film of his that I didn't have yet. Of course, I really like the front cover here. It's kind of hard to see at the bottom, but in blue there's like a car and a policeman yelling and a dead woman and a woman in a car. Lots of stuff going on here. I don't know if this is some sort of like fantasy horror, sci-fi horror. I'm not too sure what kind of film exactly it is, but that is Terror. And the last one here is The Candy Tangerine Man. This has an incredible cover design. It looks so classic.
It looks so fresh.
I really like the sort of pale yellow, almost cream color. But this is another 70s, 70 and 74 and 75. 2 films. There's a bonus feature, Lady Coco. Sorry, my brain's going all over the place. A 70s blaxploitation action, probably like noir type film. Don't quote me on all that because I haven't seen the film and I really don't know much about it, but this looks really awesome. There's so much going on in this cover. That's The Candy Tangerine Man with the bonus feature, Lady Coco. Okay, that is everything, everyone. That's everything I bought during the Black Friday halfway. What the hell is it even called? The halfway to Black Friday sale. It's not even a tongue twister. What am I getting all mixed up about? And that is everything that I have for this video. I want to thank you all so very much for watching till the end here and just supporting the channel in all the ways that you do, whether it's by watching or liking the video or communicating with comments down below. I very much appreciate all of you who keep coming back. It means so much. And yeah, stay tuned for my next video. It will be a Criterion Collection recommendation video. That's pretty much everything for this video. Thank you all again so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon, and I will talk to you later.